Well, today I've come across some very interesting and important news. Um, well, those are some news that good and bad at the same time. Um, there's news that when you hear them, that force you to question yourself. Among the news I've heard that President Donald Trump and the Republican Party and the Department of Health linked Tylenol to autism. Now, this is a very interesting topic. Why is it an interesting topic? Um, it's been so long since autism or has been the subject of controversy. Now, a lot of things have discussed toward that specific subject. That's saying that autism is genetic. It's might be. Scientifically, that's what they're saying. It's genetic. But when you look it up, when you go deeper into that, you wonder why so many kids have been diagnosed with autism. Because back then, we didn't have that many children that suffered from autism. But for the last 20 to 25, let's say to 30 years, it has dramatically like out of control. It was 1 out of 100, now it's 1 out of every 33 child. This is alarming. This is something that they have to act. Yes, it's money and control, but if the pharmaceutical companies they prioritize profit over human being, that being said, those people that are suffering because imagine that you get pregnant the first time you have a child, this child becomes autistic, gets pregnant the second time, same thing, third time, and so on. I know there are family members that have several kids that are autistic. It's very challenging. Those kids, they cannot do anything on their own. So they fully rely on the parents' support for everything. Now, those parents are getting older. So, of course, if you're getting older, there are things that you used to do when you were in your early 20s, 30s. Now you're in your 70s. You can no longer do these things. And those kids are growing up artistically. So, that being said, the challenge is increasing day after day for these people. Now, accusing allegedly saying that Tylenol caused autism, this or is this decision is backed scientifically. This is something that I cannot confirm. This is one of the trending topics for today. Unfortunately, the company that produce Tylenol or acetaminophen, there's Kenvue. I know today they take a big hit because of the stock market. You know, they're gonna get hit pretty hard. Now, it's not a surprise. This has been going on for a long time. Vaccine, it's technically one other big subject. I'm sure they're gonna try to get to the bottom of it as well, as they try to debunk certain situation. It's unfortunate that some people might see it as offensive, but you can't take something that hurting people as offensive. So many family got hurt by this situation, by those uh, 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 um, challenges. It's unfair to simply say those kids are suffering because of something like out of the blue. No. Back then, when they didn't have that many vaccines, autistic was not so frequent. It's once in a blue moon you find a child that is autistic. Now every single places that you go, you might see 1 or 2 children that are autistic. So this is a very important subject. Taking a decision for those companies to be liable for the crime they have committed, it's fair enough. I know it's a controversial subject. A lot of people might say, there's profit people, P for P, profit people. Those that are for profit. They'll say no, it's not scientifically backed by anything. But those that understand what those families have been through, they should definitely consider that having a child that is autistic is not something fun, and it's definitely taking it such decision to make these companies pay for their crime. It's something that I personally I like, and I say bravo to President Donald Trump and his cabinets that taking those decisions to ensure the American people that they receive the information that they need, not receiving the information, but act upon what they say during the campaign and everything like that. And this is something that everyone that have a family member that has been through certain type of difficulties with autistic should be happy with that. Now, what's next on that? I don't know. Are they gonna sue Kenview for medical malpractice? That I cannot say anything. I cannot speculate upon that. Are they gonna sue Tylenol, which is produced by Kenview? This is something that's, you know, we have to see what's gonna happen next. Okay, so since this is a brilliant topics, we have to make sure that when a child, if someone get injured during the pregnancy and they had taken Tylenol and found out that Tylenol really caused quote unquote autism, I'm guessing in the next few months or the next few days, the next few years, they're gonna have quite few lawsuits against Tylenol. It won't be a surprise to me at all if they sue Tylenol and bring them to the knee. It will not be a surprise to me. Second thing today, Dembélé, Ousmane Dembélé won the Ballon d'Or 2025. This is another thing that's very interesting because Dembélé won the World Cup. It became like one of the few players. I would name Messi, Cafu, Zidane. After they won the Ballon d'Or, the UEFA Cup, and they also won the Ballon d'Or. So, which is a big accomplishment for someone like Ousmane Dembélé. Some people call him the lazy Dembélé. Is he very lazy? No, I'm not sure. I can't say that. Okay, so I don't think he's lazy. It's just sometimes he get injured a lot. So if he's injured, he cannot play. Plain and simple. That's not called being lazy. Another big news: Jimmy Kimmel is back on the air after he was pulled off the air because of a comment that he made upon Charlie Kirk death. Well, this again was a little controversial to me. When you listen to a comedian, this country is going through a lot. There are things that we're dealing with right now. You need someone to make you laugh. You can't take a comedian comment so seriously that to pull them out of the show or cancel their show because of their views. So they're doing satire. So therefore, it's all about jokes. There's nothing personal. There's nothing that really can damage someone's reputation or somehow. So it's a comment. Maybe someone or another group took it in a different way, but it was a comment that was made. ABC chose to drag Jimmy Kimmel out. Fortunately, they bring him back beginning tomorrow night. They're gonna bring him back, which is some good news. Which is some very, very good news because you can't censor someone because of what they're saying. That's what also we call freedom of speech. which we have in the US. Anyone has the we have the right or the privilege. Um, they call it freedom of speech, so you can say anything that you want, but anything that you say also can be used against you. So therefore, be mindful of what you are saying, because what you're saying can be used against you, whether in a good way or a bad way. Anyway, that was my turn. First time. I switched now to a different format. We're gonna continue doing it every single day now. I'll take 10 minutes to bring you that. I am Johnson.